You are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'.
What is going down? What is going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. Welcome to the podcast, guys. If you're new to the show, welcome to the show. If you're into anime, if you are into nerd culture, and if you love video games, you come to the right place because we talk about all of that shit here. And today, episode number 327, I have some things I want to discuss. And we're going to get into some stuff here, man, because we got some Red Dead Redemption news. We also have some anime from my Anime Watchlist. I have been watching anime again, guys. I told you last week I'm back in the anime loop and I'm loving it. Also, some Baldur's Gate 3 information and how it's kind of creating, I'm not going to say necessarily a divide, because it's definitely lopsided, but it's definitely creating some talk that's going on out here in these video game streets, and I can't wait to dive into it, all right? Also, Gamescom is coming up. I'm just going to give you guys a quick update on that and the time frame and how that's going down, and even a couple players that are involved, and everybody hasn't quite been confirmed yet, but I do have a list of a few names that are actually going to be there, and I didn't name them all, but I have some of the more prominent ones, and then as we get closer next week, I guess I can give you guys a little bit more information when that falls into my lap. But anyway, let's begin the show, guys. And let's talk a little bit about Gamescom, since I just got through talking about that, and give you guys some information on that event. It's going to be taking place in Germany, okay? I think some place called Cologne, Germany, like the cologne you spray on your body, I'm guessing. But yeah, it takes place in Germany. And one thing that kind of got my attention was the fact that they're going to have a theater presentation of Starfield at this event. Now, I don't know what that entails. I don't know what they're going to show us. You would think for them to be showing something like a theater event, it has to be something pretty dope, pretty big, because we're really close now to the game and everybody's kind of getting itchy and wanting to know more about the game. Some people are even saying, yo, they should be showing us more. Some people are getting a little cagey with that. I'm not looking into it like that because, like I said, that 45-minute presentation that they gave us was more than enough to whet my appetite and get me interested in this game, okay? That's carried me over, and it's going to continue to carry me over until the game's release. And I'm not even talking about the early access that a lot of people are going to be doing. Probably most of the PC players are going to be trying to dive into that. And, that'll give us a peek inside about a week before the game actually releases for everyone else, which is September 6th. So I can't wait to dive into that. But yeah, theater presentation. I don't know what they're going to show us. I'm hoping it's something new, something we haven't seen before. And also, we're going to have a few hitters. I didn't know who was going to come to Gamescom or not, to be honest with you guys, because now when you think about it, most companies are doing their own thing. They have their own directs and they have their own little stuff that they throw themselves. So I don't know who's all going to show, who's going to pull out last minute or anything like that. But I'm hoping that most people show up to this. And some of the names that are on this list is Bandai Namco, a major company. You also have Bethesda, of course, which they should be there. They're going to be doing that theater presentation. And then you have Devolver I was going to say Devolver Entertainment, but it's Devolver Digital, which is an indie indie company, more so than not, but they make excellent games. They have a lot of dope games under their belt. Also, Nintendo is going to be here at Gamescom. Believe it or not, Nintendo is going to be present. Pearl Abyss, another company, Sega, one of the all-time GOATs of all time, in my opinion, is going to be there. Team 17, another indie dev company who is awesome at what they do. They'll be there as well. Ubisoft is definitely going to be in the building, and Xbox. So there's some other ones that I didn't bring up because I'm not really familiar with those companies, but there's some other ones. I think Amazon is going to be there. Amazon Games, I think, is going to be there. So You know, like I said, they haven't really shown me anything yet, but that's why I didn't really put them on the list. But hey, and there's some other ones coming as well. But like I said, as the list starts to get a little bit longer, I'll keep you guys posted. I'll give you some more information. And maybe we have a few more surprises leading up to Gamescom before it drops. You know, a lot of these companies like to hold stuff and give it to us right at the very end. Okay. Thing I want to talk about now is I go ahead and just talk about my anime watch list because we already here. I've been watching some killer anime lately, and I recently finished Nier Automata. Finally got it done. The thing about this is the thing that pissed me off about Nier, and I don't understand this, and I probably never ever will understand this. The time frame at which the English dub gets a hold of their scripts or whatever they need to do so that they can get their shit recorded and delivered to the English listeners or the people who enjoy the dub. Okay. I tuned in. I started watching it. One of the episodes I was out somewhere, so I said, okay, let me start now. So I started watching it, gave me the option of watching in English. So I said, okay, cool. I'll be able to watch this in English. That way I can multitask, because if you guys don't know, what I like to do a lot of the time is I like to do multiple things if I can. I have a lot of stuff on my plate sometimes, and while I'm watching something, it's cool sometimes to be able to kind of do another thing on the side while I'm kind of doing that. And when I watch dubbed anime, it gives me that opportunity to do that. Now, when I watch subbed anime, I have to watch sub anime and sub anime only. I can't focus on anything else, and I have to be dialed in. If you turn your head for 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, you turn back around, you miss the whole fucking chapter. I mean, that's just what it is. There are memes everywhere on the internet about this shit. Yes, I love my subbed anime as well as my dubbed, but like I said, they're for different occasions. At least that's how I watch it. So I was gearing up my mind to watch the dubbed version of it. Okay. I forgot what episode it was, maybe 6 or something like that. And they tell me, warning ahead of time. We're just letting you know that this is now going to switch over to the subbed. We do not have dub for these. I'm like, what the fuck? The anime was on hiatus for like 6 months. So they didn't get the fucking English dub done. I mean, come on, man. It kind of just, I don't know. I was a little pissed at that. I'm not going to lie, because I wasn't looking forward to watching my anime in 2 different languages. I hate that. I hate when I have to do that. So I had to finish it, and I had to watch it in English subbed. So I had to make sure I focused on that and only that to get it done. I will say it was good. I will say that I love what they did with the story and how they kind of gave us different kind of pictures or different angles of some of the other characters involved in this, and gave us some stuff actually into other entities in this universe, in this lore. That's one thing I love about Nier Automata and just Yoko Taro, period. Dude is just crazy, man. So crazy to where he comes up with these things. I don't know who else could come up with something like this. An awesome story, a story that leaves you thinking after the credits are rolling, and question humanity and everything else it is about. You know, he really makes you think. This anime is no different, okay? Because they started peering off into some stuff outside of the game and into like some of the books and stuff. Because if you guys don't know, Nier Automata that universe stretches not just in video games, but it also stretches out into plays. And also books, okay, novels and things of that nature. So that's one thing I haven't had a chance to explore yet. I have definitely been wanting to. Matter of fact, I was looking into the books a while back, but I just never got a chance to get into them. But it's called the Yorha Boys, I think is what it's called. And I definitely want to get into that, because that has a lot to do with 9S and his character. And this is what they were kind of giving us towards the end after the credits rolled, if you haven't seen this anime. So I highly encourage any Nier Automata fan out there to definitely go watch this anime and check it all out. Watch the credits, everything. I'm going to go back and watch it again, because sometimes with these things, I feel like I may have missed something if I went up and got a glass of water or something, came back and something like that. So I'm definitely going to go back over it again. But yeah, I'm very intrigued. I'm very curious to know that other side of some of these other characters, like even going all the way back to the first creators of the androids, okay? Because if you don't know who created the androids, there's this one guy, I can't remember his name, but it was an android who created Yorha, okay? Which is giving everybody, he planted that seed and he wanted everybody to believe, the robots he was making, he wanted them to believe that the humans were still alive and that they were just waiting on another planet until the Yorha androids wiped out the competition so that the humans could come back down. I mean, I think the concept of that whole story is so fucking dope anyway in itself. And the fact that the humans had been dead for thousands of years already, when he concocted this whole thing, and still everyone thinks one way, and you have to get to the bottom before you really find out what happened. Same thing for the aliens who came down. They've been extinct for so many years now. So it's just dope how they actually wrote the story, in my opinion. And I want to know more about other characters. I want to know more about the lore and stuff like that. So Yorha Boys is something I hope they expand on in this anime. Or maybe they give us some of that, more of that. And another thing in this anime you didn't get to see a lot of, which was A2, which is, she's one of my fucking favorites of the androids, you know. So hopefully we get we get to dive deep into her backstory. Maybe next season. I don't know how we're going to do it, but hopefully we learn more about her and they give us some different sides on her instance, because it's just a great story, man. And I really, 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 really hope that we get another Yoko Taro game within the next few years. I'm really hoping and praying we get something, not an Android game, okay? A real, fully fleshed out Yoko Taro game set in, if I'm really lucky, in this same universe, okay? Because if you haven't played Nier Automata, or if you haven't played Nier Replicant, you're really missing out on some great shit. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. You're missing out on it, and both are great. They both tie in beautifully, even though they're set thousands of years apart in the same universe. But there's so many things to experience if you play Nier Replicant and then you play Nier Automata that you will understand after playing it. That's the only thing I can tell you. Even going back to Nier Replicant, if you've played Nier Automata and only played that, you can catch some things too. So it's just there's some great characters and there's some great story within both games. And then even more than that, the Dragon Guard series, there's so many things that Yoko Taro could do, and hopefully we get to see some of that in the future, you know, some remakes or something. I don't know, but this is one of my favorite universes, one of my favorite video games of all time, Nier Automata. And the soundtrack is probably my favorite video game soundtrack ever. I can't think of another soundtrack that is better than that. There's only a couple that come close, and those are Eco and Shadows of the Colossus. Those two games right there, I really love the music in those, but I don't think anyone's taking that number one spot from Nier Automata. I don't. And those other two games I mentioned were two of my other all-time favorites. If I had a top 10 list, those would be on my top 10. And I guess I need to make a top 10 and talk about that one day. A top 10 game list and put that together, man. It's going to be hard, because it's going to be hard, but I think I can do it and talk about that with you guys. That'd be dope. Talk about my top 10 all-time games from all systems. That'd be crazy. Or do one like, hey, do like my top 10 from every, all of my favorite systems, like PS4, PS5, and so on and so on. Could do something like that too. Yeah, man. I don't know, just something to think about for the future on another show or something. But anyway, saw that anime, loved it. Definitely check it out, guys, if you haven't seen it. And if you're a fan of Nier Automata, you have to. I mean, that's just more great things, if you're a fan like me, to enjoy from that series. But anyway, the other anime that I watched was this one here. I really enjoyed this one, man. This one is another long one, and it goes by the name of okay, let me get it right. Okay. I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. That's a fucking mouthful, right? I got a cheat skill in another world and became unrivaled in the real world too. That shit is long, okay? But it was dope, okay? It was about this dude who basically was treated like shit by his own parents even, okay? His brother and sister. He was an overweight kid, he wasn't very attractive. His brother and sister were. His parents looked down on him. They treated him like shit. Everybody at school bullied him. He had to deal with all that constantly, enough to make somebody just drive themselves off a cliff or something, man. I mean, just cruel for no fucking reason, right? Your own parents. So his grandfather was the only person in his life who, looked at him as equal or looked at him normally, okay, and loved him unconditionally. And then when his grandfather died, that was like the worst day of his life, of course. And what's crazy is his grandfather left him pretty much the bulk of his inheritance, right? So the parents, they were pissed that he got most of the inheritance, so they just left. They left him in the house that his grandfather left him, and he had a secret area in his house, and he discovered all that, and then basically he got drifted off into another world, okay? And he began to kind of train in that world, and as he trained in that world, he got more experience. His body changed, his appearance changed, and he turned into an attractive kid. Okay, he was attractive now. And he took that body and image that he got in the other world and came back to the real world and went back to school. And it got real good. It's really dope. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. And his attitude, okay, he was never a conceited guy. He was never somebody who, thought of himself in high regard or anything like that. So he didn't have that type of attitude about him. And I think that's what the people who met him, in this anime moving forward kind of sensed. And that's kind of what makes him so likable in this. You would think somebody who looks this good, who's this attractive and has all these gifts and skills would definitely be conceited or have some sort of vainness about them, but it's not the case, and it's more to it than that. But he goes between the real world and the fantasy world, and he does his thing, okay? And then over the course of time, he develops, different crushes start to develop for him, and it becomes kind of sort of like it morphs into a harem anime in a sense, in a way. And I don't know. That's my weakness when it comes to anime. I don't know why it's like that, but I love these anime. I love the harem animes, and they just, they always just get me for whatever reason. A lot of the girls start out trying to resist and act as if they don't care. And then as time goes by, they all finally give out. And then next thing you know, hey, we all love you. So I think it's dope. Definitely something you should check out. I think it's 13 episodes. It's on Crunchyroll. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend this one, guys. I think did I watch this dubbed? I want to say I watched this one dubbed. Yeah. But yeah, so now let's move on to something else. I don't know what it's going to be. I keep hearing about this one about the kid who, what is it called? I can't think of it right now, man. I don't have my phone on me, but it's about the end of the world or something happens, and he wanted to do all these things on his bucket list, and he wasn't able to do it because everything was so expensive. And so when basically the end of the world came, he was like, well, fuck it. Nobody's caring about this shit now, so I'll be able to go do all the things I ever wanted to do. He wasn't the least bit scared or in fear of his life that the apocalypse was upon them and everybody was being turned into zombies and all this crazy shit. He didn't care about none of that. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that one out. Crunchyroll keeps recommending it to me, saying it's one of the most popular ones, and I keep hearing about this one. So I'll probably check that one out and see what happens with that. Definitely a different one. One thing I love about anime too is the stories are crazy and outlandish. You'll never think of some of the shit that is thought up with these stories, man. And that's the brilliance and that is the freedom of Japanese writing, in my humble opinion. And that's why it's just so prominent out there. I mean, that's their culture, and a lot of people here don't get it. A lot of people in the States don't get it. They don't understand it, especially, anyone who aren't cut from the same cloth. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just kind of one of those things where you either just kind of get it or you don't. A lot of people just, okay, Goku, I know him. And, but it's more than that. It's deeper than that. And it's actually, the writing is really stellar in a lot of these anime, and the thought process that goes behind a lot of this stuff, guys, is you have to be a certain kind of person to enjoy it, and your mind has to almost like have no training wheels to kind of go off and explore some of these stories and actually understand and kind of see what they're trying to portray to you. And that's what makes anime, in my eyes, so beautiful. And I think that's why it's a growing thing now. It's popular here in the States now, and it's getting more popular in the States because more and more people are starting to understand that and see that that it's a lot of stuff out there for you. And there's so many different ones. If you like romance, or if you like action, if you like, comedy, there's everything. There's so many of them out there. There's so many genres in anime. So I believe that there's something out there for everyone, even people who claim that they don't enjoy it. They just haven't found the one, in my opinion, that they would enjoy yet, So I think that if you are thinking about anime or getting into it, if you're listening to this podcast and you're playing games and you're doing some of the things, but you just hadn't took that step yet, I think you should just jump off, man. There's plenty of places you can start with. You don't have to get Crunchyroll if you're not an avid watcher like somebody like myself. You can go to some of these other streaming services that you guys already probably have, like Hulu or Netflix, and they have plenty of them out there where you can get started on, and then you can kind of expand your palette as you kind of progress. Because I'm keep it real, like Hulu has some bangers on there. Definitely Netflix has some fucking bangers on there. Some of my favorite shows came from Netflix. Okay, High Score Girl, that came from Netflix. So I gotta give kudos to where kudos is deserved. Also, it's Castlevania. There's King and Ashura. There's the Baki series now. There's some shit on there. Okay, and there's a lot of other ones too. I'm leaving off the plate, but there's a lot. So definitely don't be afraid to get in there, man, and watch some stuff. Especially like a lot of my early fans, my OG fans, they started listening to this podcast because it was a Dragon Ball podcast. This podcast used to be called Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. So I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, but there's so much more anime out there. I would be doing anybody listening to this a disservice if I didn't talk about those things and just left that off the table, and in the way that Dragon Ball kind of goes in and out of production and the things that it's doing, you need other things to talk about. So that's why I decided to kind of, change that shift, because I'm an avid gamer and I've always been an avid gamer as well. So I wanted to, and that's the bulk of this show is games. And then everything else is kind of like seasoning, when Dragon Ball is popping and it's hot and everything's going on, of course I'm going to cover that stuff. And if it's another anime that I saw that I just have to discuss with you guys, I don't want to be pigeon-toed into not being able to talk about it or feel like I would be, because I named this podcast something different. So I went with that change, and that's where we're at. But yeah, there's lots of dope anime. If you like Dragon Ball and you're into Dragon Ball stuff, man, I highly recommend other things like Naruto, and there's Full Metal Alchemist, and there's just so many of them. Jujutsu Kaisen, Goblin Slayer, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba. There's a lot of these out here, and you just got to pick your flavor, that you want. Like I said, and I used to watch nothing but shonen and action, and I didn't think that there would be anything else out there that I would gravitate towards if I watched it. And that couldn't have been further from the truth, because some of my favorites now are considered non-shonen anime, which is crazy to even think about now, but they are. There's some dope shows out here. Spy Family. There's a lot of dope anime that are out here, man, that aren't shonen anime. So just like even romantic ones and shit that I didn't think I would like or whatever, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here watching all this shit. I'm covering it all. If I like it, I'm going to watch it, period. So I don't know, I can go on and on about my love and why I love it so much, but it's definitely one of my favorite things to do when I get time to do it, and just kind of binge and do my thing if I'm not playing games and stuff too. So, all right, let's get off the anime watch list now, and let's get into this Red Dead Redemption shit. I definitely want to talk about this. Okay, if you guys remember, I brought it up and I was saying that the rumor was that they were working on a new Red Dead Redemption from the ground up, a remake. Okay, that was not the case. Now, I guess the facts got mixed up somewhere, but the real truth of the matter is we are getting Red Dead Redemption, but we're only getting it for PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Now, this is bittersweet. This is a bittersweet topic. I'm going to get into all of this. You might be wondering, why only PlayStation 4? Why not PlayStation 5? Well, the reason why not PlayStation 5 is because when they make it for the 4, you'll be able to play it on the 5. So basically what Rockstar is doing, in my opinion, is they're pulling out warm butter. Okay. Rockstar, if you go to Walmart, go to aisle 4, okay, at your local Walmart. And if you scroll over, I think the 4th or the 5th aisle, you will find Rockstar butter. Okay. They have finally got their butter out in the stores, and they're using it. They're using it on people. And this is their first attempt to knock you over the head with a foreign object, pull down your garments, turn down the lights, warm up their butter, and use it on your person. This is a butter moment, and I must talk about it because Rockstar is doing some foul shit here in a sense. Okay, I have to call it out. And Rockstar is one of my favorite gaming companies. They've got bangers. Okay, Max Payne, they got so many of them. All right, Manhunt. All right, fucking Red Dead Redemption, that series. Okay, and we're not even going to even talk about GTA. Bangers after bangers after bangers. But what I'm saying to you guys is they have butter now, and they're trying to get over. Okay. And that is in the price. That's all in the price of what they're selling. Now, I think it's coming out on is it the 17th? No, it may be. Yeah, somewhere around there. I think the 17th is when it's going to drop. Okay. Now here's my issue. Switch and PlayStation 4 have digital versions coming out. So if they say physical coming soon at a later date. All right. Now the price is $50 for this game. So that's where everybody's going crazy on the internet. That's where everybody's losing their shit because they're like, what? You're charging $50 for a game? Now, here's another reason why people are upset. All right. Because if you guys don't remember, Red Dead Redemption had a online mode. Now, I don't know if the online servers are still up. I'm assuming they're still up on this game. Okay. I'm going to assume that because people are so fucking salty about this. Now, that's what the game came with. Now, they're giving us the DLC, the zombie DLC, which is cool. That you're going to get that with the game. All right, cool. But people are saying, why don't you just go get the Xbox version with the zombie DLC and with the online mode on there for $30? Because that's what it's selling for right now, $30. And Xbox has the fucking game digitally right now. I was just talking about this like a few weeks ago with you guys about how I wanted to go back and play through Red Dead Redemption, how I liked the first one better than the second one and all of that, right? And I was saying how I wanted to wait for a sale. And right now it's $30 digitally right now on Xbox at the store, on the store, right? So that's why Xbox isn't making one, because this would kind of go back to PlayStation 3 because that's when it came out. It was on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3. But the problem with the PlayStation 3 is they don't fucking have PlayStation 3 games regularly being able to be played in a regular state. They have to stream those games because their fucking hardware is put together like fucking Chinese arithmetic. All right. They made sure that they made that shit hard to fucking crack. And now it's coming back to haunt them because all the PlayStation 3 games, if you try to play them on the PlayStation Store, you're going to have to stream them. You cannot download them and play them. They don't have an emulator that is going to play it right now. All right. Now, I want to say a year ago or so, maybe they were looking into trying to work on that. And it's been a pain in the ass evidently because if it wasn't, they would probably already have that done and we wouldn't be trying to stream these fucking games. And they know that's a weak spot in their armor. That's a chink in their armor right now. And that's why nobody's trying to stream that shit. Okay. We're not there yet in technology. So that's why they're coming out with the PlayStation 4 version so that people can get it who still have PlayStation 4s, which are over 100 million people if they want. And then the PS5 players can also say, okay, let me get it for the 4 and then I can run it on the 5. That's why they're doing it with that. Okay. But they're that $50 price tag, shit, they should make it $29.99. And then everybody I think would be happy. Most people, because you still are leaving off of the online mode. Okay. That's the thing that they're too lazy to create a server to let people play it on the fucking online like Xbox is doing if they're still up and running on Xbox. So that's that. So not everybody's going to be satisfied, but I would be satisfied if it came out with this game and it was $30. Perfect sweet spot for the game. Shit, Nier Automata came out for the Switch and that was $30. That's $30. Perfect price. And you get the Game of the Year edition with extra skins, all of this stuff, right? So I'm just saying if you're Rockstar and you're listening, which you're probably not, but if you were listening, I tell you, put down the butter, put the lid on the butter. Okay, put it back in the refrigerator. All right, let it cool down, let it harden up. We don't need it moistured. We don't need it wet. And pour out the sake. Okay, I know those glasses are filled to the brim. Let's pour out the sake glasses. Okay, let's empty those out. Let's stomp out the endo sticks. All the things you guys are doing, take the cocaine, take it off the desks. Let's put it in the trash, guys. I know you want to sniff it, but let's take a step back. You guys are doing too much. All right. And that's kind of how it feels right now, what they're doing. Okay. They're reaching. Now, I say it was bittersweet because of the fact that they are coming out. I didn't see this coming out for the Switch. I didn't see it. But now that I have seen it, that's kind of like the sweet part of it in a sense for me personally, because you can play this on the go. Like, am I going to buy this? I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't. Am I paying $50 for it? Fuck no, I'm not. I will wait till the game goes down to about $25-$30. Then I will buy it, and I will make sure it is a physical copy. I will not do digital. Okay. That's what I'm going to do with the Switch. All right. I was going to get it for the Xbox, and with the Xbox, they have all the power because they could put it on sale. Cause I've seen this game for like $5 on sale at one point in time. These games go on sale periodically. You just don't know when. So they could say, fuck it. We're not going to go down on price because they're selling it for $50. Or Xbox could say, you know what? I want to stick it to Sony and Nintendo one time and say, fuck it. It's on sale again, $7.99 or some shit like that. Buy it here. Okay. So there's a number of things that Xbox can do if they really wanted to with this because they have it in their ecosystem. I don't know what they're going to do with that. But right now, as somebody who wants to play that again, we're definitely wanting to play it. Now, what Xbox did do with their version is they upscaled it to 4K. So you got crispiness. You can play it nice and crispy. That has not been mentioned for these other titles. We haven't gotten 60 frames per second. We don't know if it's going to be that. We don't know if we're going to get the 4K. We don't know if we're going to get all that. That will come out very soon. And I got a feeling that we're not getting those things for the simple fact that they announced the game. It's out there. It's telling we're going to get it any day now, like in a week from now, I think. And we don't have that information. That tells me that they don't have it. That tells me it's a straight up carbon copy of what the game was when it first came out for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, which was 30 frames. It wasn't 60, none of that shit. So that has yet to be seen. I can't wait when it comes out and what people are going to say. We'll see what's going to happen. If we got 60 frames and if we get all this stuff. I don't know. All I'm saying is, look at Witcher 3. Okay. Matter of fact, a week ago or so, Witcher 3 got another update, a huge fucking update on the Switch. Okay. They put all of that on the Switch. They put all of that on the cartridge with the DLC. They were able to do that, and it runs very good, very fucking well. So, you know, if they can do that for the fucking Switch, same thing with what they did with Nier Automata. Yes, Nier Automata runs at 30 frames, I know, on the Switch, but still, they were able to do that on that machine. I mean, look, I understand on the Switch, if you can't get anything over 30, that's fine, and I can live with that, and I'm cool with that on the Switch. But when you're talking about PlayStation 4 and you don't have 60 frames, you're smoking Sherm sticks. Okay? Nier Automata was 60 frames on the 4. All right, you can do 60 frames. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if not Nintendo. I don't know if Sony will give us that. We don't know. I don't even know if Nintendo will. Will they have the capacity to do it? I don't know. I know the game is smaller than I initially thought it was going to be, which is cool. That means that when the game does come out physically, it shouldn't be any issues with them putting it all on one fucking cartridge. That's the main thing I'm wanting. I'm not going to buy the game if they say, oh, we got 1 megabyte here, 2 megabytes here, and the rest you download to the fucking cartridge. You download to your Switch. Then it defeats the whole purpose for having that game on a Switch, in my opinion. So I will wait for the game to come out. It's very small compared to what I thought it was going to be. 11.4 gigabytes. So that's not very big. That's a pretty small size for a game that big, especially with the DLC as well on top. So yeah, man, it looks like it's going to be something to pick up and something to do. You know what I mean? I'm definitely looking for something for this trip to Georgia next month, man, that I would like to play on that trip. So that's that. But yeah, that's where we're at on that Red Dead Redemption shit, guys. Yeah, that's where we're at. PC players also not getting anything. on that. But what PC players are already doing is emulating anyway. And they're playing that shit at 120 frames, so it doesn't fucking matter for the most part if you're a PC player. But for people who do own PC and who just want to play an original and don't want to have to worry about doing all the other stuff, emulation, then yeah, you're not gonna probably get one. So it is what it is. That's where it is on that. And these companies, they're using their name. They're really using their name to try to just get off on people, man. I really feel that. And I'm not really happy the way that Rockstar is handling this. Now, maybe they backtrack a little bit, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see what happens because they're getting fried right now on the internet. So we'll see how far it goes, and we'll check it out because somebody's going to buy it, and then we'll get to see videos and we'll get to see how it plays in real time. And that will probably determine what, a lot of us do moving forward. I know I'm not paying $50 for that though, for sure. I'm not paying $50 for Red Dead Redemption on the Switch. I will wait for it. 30 I will do, but 50, So usually what'll happen, somebody can buy the game, wait a month, go to fucking eBay, get it for 30. Problem solved. Okay. Let's move on and let's go and talk about Baldur's Gate 3 now. And it goes perfect to bring this up right after this discussion because Baldur's Gate has got these devs out here in these video game streets shook. Okay. They got these guys' foreheads wet, armpits wet. If you're wearing the shirt, hey, that area right under the arm soaking wet. Okay. Don't wear a ball cap because if you do, you're going to wet it up in the front. They got these devs shook. Okay. And more so, not the devs, I'd say more so the suit and ties, the devs, supervisors and bosses. Okay. And I say that because this company has done something that, very few companies do. And that's deliver on what they say they're going to do. Give the player actually something that they actually told them, hey, we're going to do this for you, and actually do it. Okay. And that happens very sporadic now. We don't get that anymore, man. We don't, especially in these times. We just don't. Companies promise us the world, all these things. We've seen it so many times over before. All right. And we don't ever get it the way that's advertised. Same thing when you watch these McDonald's commercials and you see these burgers, man, they all plumped up and they look so pretty. And then when you go to fucking McDonald's, what do you get? A smashed, lopsided piece of shit. That's pretty much what a lot of us get when we're talking about video games, especially a lot of these AAA game companies who promise you the world, like I said before, and we get complete opposite of that. And Baldur's Gate has shown the world that it can be done. Okay. This game has so many things. There's no fucking paid content. There's no fucking microtransactions, and it's a fucking great game and people will buy it. Okay. Last time I checked, over 800,000 people, okay, online, on PC alone playing this. It's not even out for PlayStation 3 yet. So that's probably going to it's definitely going to almost probably double. I'm guaranteeing you, Baldur's Gate is probably on PlayStation 5 going to sell. It's going to sell 1 million copies. I think it'll sell 1 million copies for sure. So I'm saying that to say a lot of devs are out here upset, and Twitter kind of exploded at one point because one of the devs went and took to Twitter to basically say, hey, just because Baldur Gate did this doesn't mean that we can do the same thing, because there's so many variables when we're designing games and, these things happen. So basically trying to downplay the whole incident or the whole subject at hand, in my opinion, just basically making excuses to why they should still be able to fuck up and give us lackluster stuff but want us to pay full price for it. Okay. That's the thing. So they don't want to be held accountable. So whenever somebody or a company does something of this stature, people start turning their heads saying, wait a minute. And they start looking at other devs and holding them to a higher standard. That's what we should do as people. Hold other people accountable and hold them to a higher standard so that we can benefit from that. Why pay this money when all we're doing is paying for DLC patches and all this other shit and half-baked games, because that's what we're living in now. It feels like that's all we're getting, man. It just, every game that comes out, it comes out with a fucking patch. It's mandatory. A fucking day one patch. And then there's another one. And then there's at least 3 or 4 fucking patches every game that comes out now. It's like, what the fuck? Because people are in time crunches. The fucking suit and ties are breathing down the devs' necks to get shit done, and there's no way that they can ever get done by that time. So they push the game out anyway, and then they give motherfuckers the fucking patches later. Okay? So you never get that product that you expected to get day one, if you choose to buy it day one. That's why a lot of people don't buy shit day one. They wait for that patch or 2 or whatever, and then they fucking do it. I really commend a lot of those gamers who wait for the games unless it's something they really absolutely must have day one. Everything else, even if they really care, they're going to wait, and they're just going to let the price drop, and they're going to let the content come and get all the fixes out, and then pick it up so they can enjoy the experience to its fullest potential. So, hey man, either way you want to do it, I think we should put pressure on these devs and really their bosses and get them to do their fucking job, man, correctly, and stop this nonsense and the bullshit that we're kind of growing accustomed to seeing out here in these streets. Excuse me, guys, I'm rumbling paper and shit. If that noise is, you're wondering what that is. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. So I just think that these companies need to get their shit together. And I love seeing companies like this with like Baldur's Gate making these games come out, putting that pressure on these other fucks, because that means they're doing something, and that means we're putting pressure on them. And whenever they have pressure on them, we benefit from that, because that means, hey, we're not going to get shit half baked. We're going to get shit at a better frame rate. They're just going to do everything better. Okay. Because they don't want to get roasted out here and become this next meme and have to fight through the trenches like a No Man's Sky or like a Cyberpunk 2077 had to do, which is, they're still struggling. Really, Cyberpunk is still struggling to get its name back after all the fuckery that was promised. Think about all the games that were promising us this or that. Even companies like Sony, which is who I love. Okay. But I remember when the Sony PlayStation 5 first came out and they were talking about all the games that were coming out 2021. None of those fucking games came out in 2021. Okay. They said, oh, this is coming out 2021 to entice you to get the system. They know what the fuck they're doing. They knew when they put that commercial out, the day they put that shit out, that none of those games were coming out 2021. All right. And motherfuckers bought them and waited. And then we were hit with delays and this and this and this. And this is why. And this is all of this shit. Okay. Cyberpunk 2077 was supposed to be one of the biggest games. It was a digital piece of shit when it first dropped. Okay. It's still recovering from that. There's just so many games that took us down this road and lied to us and told us things, and then it never came out. Even Starfield. Okay. When they hit us with the sneak diss of the 30 frames per second on consoles. All right. I mean, there's always something. It's just always something. And these consoles are supposed to be the creme de la creme and the next, big thing here. Everything's going to run at 60 frames and all of that. It's not true. It's not true. It's halfway true. Okay. Some games will, and I do mean some, and the rest we're going to have to wait till probably the tail end of these life cycles, and then truly probably not really benefit from that until the systems after this. So that's just realism. That's just the reality of it all. I'm sorry. I'm tired as fuck, slurring my words. But that's where we're at, man. I'm just keeping it real. I don't know where else to turn. I don't know what else to say. I think that's it. I mean, all I can say is hope and pray that we get more companies like Baldur's Gate and, CD Projekt Red, when they were doing the Witcher games, and companies like that. We get more of that, or we get to see other, AA titles or AA companies come from the ashes and do something beautiful and cement their names. Like Guerrilla Games did some dope shit too. They came out and they gave us quality. There's a lot of companies that will still do that. But they're a dying breed, and I'll leave it at that. But that's going to do it for the show, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming out, streaming, downloading, listening, and partaking in this show. And I'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. We do this every Monday morning. So definitely show your love and appreciation. If you like to, you can do a little bit more and check out some of my links. If you are a Dragon Ball fan like me and you want to show some love out there, definitely go check out DragonBallDrip.com. Buy a hoodie, buy a t-shirt, anything you buy, cool. It will definitely go towards helping out the show. Check me out on YouTube at Random Gameplay Pimpin'. Check me out on TikTok at Random Gameplay Pimpin'. And yeah, man, we're going to do this. We're going to be back next week. Can't wait to talk about more anime, more games. And of course, we got a lot of stuff coming out on the horizon. We got a nice September coming up. And we also have a pretty dope October is going to be crazy. So can't wait to talk about October with you guys and break some stuff down. But yeah, that's going to do it. I'm out now. I love you guys dearly. Thank you all for the love. And I'll see you next week. This is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you have been listening to Random Gameplay Pimpin'. See you next time.